My name is Watt. I'm 21 now, but this story unfolded last winter when I was 20. As an urban explorer and nature photographer, I prefer to keep details about myself minimal for safety reasons, especially considering what I've witnessed. The memory is unforgettable, and the risks of sharing it are too great. In early December, scrolling through Instagram, I stumbled upon images of an abandoned factory in Germany. The place, a perfect blend of rust and resilience, retained its original structure despite years of neglect. Captivating mountain views, framed by decaying windows, caught my eye. Intrigued, I used a reverse image search to locate it to a town called Westchen, nestled in the mountainous terrain of northern Germany. A particular article noted its impending demolition in April, leaving me with a narrow window to visit. On a whim, I checked flights to Berlin. In hindsight, I wish I had stopped there. My friend Bryce, a pseudonym, was looking for a winter break destination, so I pitched the Berlin idea. He was immediately on board. That afternoon, we booked our tickets for a Wednesday departure. Adrian, also a pseudonym, joining us, planned to leave early Saturday for Poland. Bryce and I scheduled our exploration of Westchen for Sunday. That Wednesday, I packed my gear: camera lenses, SD cards, respirator, flashlights, clothes, and met with Bryce and Adrian. After a mostly forgettable flight, we landed in Berlin. The following days were typical tourist activities until Adrian left for Poland on Saturday. Anticipating the next day's adventure, I prepared my equipment that night. Sunday's drive to Westchen was a journey through Germany's picturesque landscape. The abandoned factory, nestled at the foot of a hill in a vibrant green field, was a sight to behold. We parked in a nearby lot and geared up. Old buildings often contain hazardous materials like asbestos, so I donned my respirator for safety. The factory, reclaimed by nature, stood majestically amidst the rust. We found an opening in the fence and a broken window that served as our entrance. Inside, the vastness of the structure was overwhelming, with multiple levels and intricate catwalks. I eagerly began to take photos, capturing the light piercing through the cracks in the ceiling and the dust-covered machinery. Hours passed as we explored every corner, including a control room filled with switches and a silver key that I couldn't resist taking as a souvenir. Climbing to the roof, the view of the surrounding landscape was breathtaking. However, our attention was soon drawn to another abandoned structure nearby, a brick building that beckoned us as the day waned. Inside, the darkness was oppressive, illuminated only by our flashlights. We discovered a vault-like door leading to a tunnel and another room marked Projekt Nachtwolfen, Project Nightwolf. This phrase now sends shivers down my spine. Descending into a subterranean room, we were met with a horrifying sight. Animal skeletons scattered in shallow water, a testament to some gruesome activities. Another room, adorned with swastikas, held a journal in German, which I pocketed. A sudden sound of shattering glass plunged us into a panic. My flashlight failed, and in desperation, I used my camera flash for illumination. That's when I saw it. A towering, skeletal creature with razor-sharp teeth, holding the remains of a fox. In a frenzied escape, I managed to fend it off with my pocket knife. But in the chaos, Bryce was not as fortunate. The creature, with its grotesque, elongated limbs, lunged at him, its jagged teeth sinking into his flesh. His screams were blood-curdling, a symphony of agony and fear that echoed through the cavernous space. They were the kinds of screams that penetrate deep into your soul, leaving a permanent scar. In a blind panic, I ran, stumbling through the darkness, the sounds of Bryce's torment pursuing me relentless. Every step was a collision with unseen obstacles. I tripped over debris, my skin torn by the rough edges of the machinery, my hands scraped against the cold, unyielding metal. But it was the screams that inflicted the deepest wounds, the sounds of a friend's life being viciously torn away. I burst into the night, the factory a looming shadow behind me. Bryce's screams had ceased, leaving only a haunting silence. I drove blindly, the car's headlights cutting a path through the darkness, but they could not illuminate the darkness within me. In the days that followed, I was a shell of my former self. The images of that night played on a loop in my mind. Bryce's final moments, the creature's malevolent gaze, the sounds of flesh and ligaments being torn. The journal from the factory lay unopened. Its secrets, whatever horrors they contained, were of no consequence. I knew enough. That is until now. I have finally mustered the courage to translate it, and it's a chilling confirmation of the nightmare. Our tests have not been improving. It has become even more violent, no longer consuming the rabbits, but merely tearing them apart. The fear of entering the cage is palpable, as it seems to relish in the destruction of the animals and the screaming. It will haunt me until my last breath. March 24th, 1942. And it does. Bryce's screams haunt me too, a relentless echo in the depths of my soul. The factory, the creature, the night, they've become part of me, an indelible mark of terror and loss.